Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video I'll be making an unboxing and giving you a complete review of the new Oppo Find X8. Oppo has launched this phone in two variants. Base variant is priced at 70,000 rupees for 12GB RAM and 256GB storage, and the next variant is priced at 80,000 rupees for 16GB RAM and 512GB of storage. It's available in two colors, Star Grey and Space Black. We have the 16GB variant in the Space Black color. Now this phone is all about cameras and performance. So if you're looking for a flagship phone with a slightly smaller form factor, around 70,000-80,000 rupees budget with great cameras, then this is definitely something you should look forward to. With that said, here's a quick unboxing. Now this is how the box looks on the front. By the way, it looks pretty similar to the Find X8 Pro with slight differences. On the front we have a quick preview of how the phone looks along with Oppo and Hasselblad's branding. On the back side we have just some specification, pricing and so on. Now let's unbox it. First there's the accessories box. Next we have the phone itself, followed by the 80 watts charging brick. Next we have a USB Type-C charging cable. Now inside the accessory box we get a SIM card ejector tool, some documentation and a transparent TPU case. Now here's the phone. Let me just remove the cover. Now this is how the phone looks on the front and this is how it looks on the back. Now let's have a physical overview. On the back, this phone has a glass panel with a nice matte finish and it doesn't attract any fingerprints, so it looks pretty clean. By the way, this phone has a thickness of 7.85mm and weighs just about 193 grams, which is simply amazing. Now at the top we have a huge circular camera module with a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixel primary camera with Sony lit 700 sensor with optical image stabilization, followed by a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with a Samsung sensor. That's followed by a 50 megapixel camera with 3x optical zoom or 3x periscope telephoto zoom, and there's also a flash towards the corner. Now that's followed by the Oppo branding at the bottom. On the front we have a huge display with a punch hole design with symmetrical bezels, and the bezels are also pretty thin. Now this is a 6.59 inch 1.5K resolution AMOLED display. By the way, X8 Pro comes with a LTPO display while this is just a normal display. It is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 7i. It supports 120Hz screen refresh rate, it has Dolby Vision and has a peak brightness of 4500 nits. Now inside the punch hole design we have the front facing camera, which is a 32 megapixel camera with Sony IMX615 sensor. Now for the sides, on the right side we got the power and volume buttons. On the left side we got an alert slider just like on the OnePlus phones. On the top we got the secondary mic for noise cancellation, secondary speaker and infrared blaster. At the bottom we got the speaker grill, mic, USB Type-C charging port and SIM card tray. By the way, here's the SIM card tray. There are two nano SIM slot options and there is no SD card slot at all. Now when it comes to performance, this phone sports the MediaTek 9400 processor, which is currently the best that MediaTek has to offer. It's also an octa-core processor which comes with all bigger cores. As for GPU, it comes with G925 MC12 GPU. In terms of RAM, it uses LPDDR5X RAM, and as for storage, for both variants, it uses UFS 4.0 storage. So in terms of transfer speeds and overall memory speeds, you are definitely getting the best. Now finally, when it comes to battery department, it comes with a 5630 mAh battery, also with an 80 watt Superbook charger that comes inside the box. It also supports 50 watts AirVook wireless charging and reverse wireless charging as well. It also has Oppo Max support, that is basically Apple's MagSafe kind of a feature. It also supports that, so if you're interested in wireless charging, do give it a try. Now let's turn on the phone and see how it looks. Now this is the home screen. Here's the app drawer, notification panel. Now this is the settings page. Let's check out the about page. This phone is running ColorOS 15 based on Android 15. When it was launched, it actually had the October security patch, but right now we already got the new update and has the January security patch, which is pretty good. By the way, this phone gets 4 years of Android updates and 6 years of security updates, just like Samsung and Pixel, at least when it comes to security updates. Now let's check RAM and storage. Out of 16GB of RAM, we get about 13.6GB of free RAM right out of the box, and we get about 488GB of space for our user apps and user data. Now here's the camera application. This is the default photo mode, wide angle mode. These are the zoom options and you can seamlessly switch between different cameras, which is pretty good. Next we have master mode, portrait mode and more settings. We have similar interface even for the front camera. Now these are some sample shots. Now this phone comes with dual stereo speakers. It doesn't have Dolby Atmos, but it has its own audio engine and it does sound pretty good. Here's a quick audio sample. Now coming to the review part, I'll start off with the design and build. Now the design and build of this phone are definitely top notch. It is as good as any other flagship out there. You can specifically compare with the iPhone and you won't find any major issues. Well, it definitely looks amazing, it looks gorgeous, and it has completely flat sides, and as the form factor of the phone is slightly smaller than the bigger phones, it's really comfortable to hold. So if you compare phones with 6.3 inch screen and 6.9 inch or 6.7 inch screen, this is somewhere in between and it feels very comfortable. Like it's not too big, not too small, and you also have a large screen real estate. So I really like it and I don't have any complaints. As for the camera module, yes, it looks pretty huge, but that's its iconic design. And by the way, when you place it on a table, there's no wobbling. That's a good thing. Now when it comes to the hardware department, once again, as a flagship, it's not missing out on anything. You also get NFC. Infrared blaster is definitely a sweet addition for people who are using older devices like me. And you also get this alert slider, just in case if you like this thing on OnePlus phones. Personally, I don't use this alert slider, but it's always nice to have more things. By the way, Oppo X8 Pro comes with a dedicated camera button, but this one doesn't. I wish Oppo has added it even to this phone, so it would make it a bit more special. Now this phone comes with an optical in-display fingerprint scanner, not an ultrasonic one, so that's another con, I would say. Still, performance of this fingerprint scanner is pretty good. It instantly unlocks the phone. We also have face unlock feature, and that too works fabulously. By the way, haptics on this phone are also pretty good, comparable to other flagship phones. Now when it comes to connectivity, I've used this phone mainly with Airtel and I didn't have any issues or any call drop issues, but some people were complaining about Jio 5G, they were having call drops. So if you're using Jio, switch to 4G and you won't have any issues. Besides that, there are no major issues with connectivity. It also comes with USB 3.0, so if you want to connect any external devices, then it's pretty good to go. Now when it comes to display, you're definitely getting one of the best displays. It's AMOLED 1.5K resolution. It supports Dolby Vision and HDR as well, and it also has wide L1. Sunlight legibility is also pretty good. Like it has a maximum peak brightness of 4500 nits, but if you go outdoor, you can see a maximum brightness of 1600 nits, which is also pretty good. Now when it comes to performance, it performs as expected. It comes with the best processor out there and it performs well in all the games. I mainly tried it with BGMI, Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, and I don't have any issues playing any of these games. It does get warm while playing games, but it cools down pretty quickly too. So in terms of performance, I really don't have any complaints. Now when it comes to software, it comes with ColorOS. It has lots and lots of features, customization options, but yes, it does come with bloatware. You can uninstall them if you want. Now interestingly, this one has all kinds of features that you can ask for, even imagine for. It has features like dual apps or dual messenger. It has app lock, it has private space. You get all kinds of screen gestures, and they also added AI features to it. You get to see all the recent AI features on this phone. We do have features related to AI writing, but I don't think many people will use it in day-to-day basis. But still, it's a nice feature to have built into the phone and free to use. But the most impressive thing about the software is the fluidity. Everything is really smooth. Like whenever you switch between applications or whenever you go to home screen or whenever you open applications in a floating window, everything happens so seamlessly. And that's not just with normal application, that happens even with the games. Like I was downloading two games, Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone, in floating windows. Like first I opened Zenless Zone Zero, opened it in a floating window, then opened Wuthering Waves and started downloading both games at the same time, and they're both in floating windows. I'm doing something else. So you can use this phone in a crazy way, and the fluidity of the overall thing is definitely the best I've seen so far. So at least in that department, Oppo has really done a great job, the overall optimization stuff. Besides that, you also have this O+ Connect app, which you can use to transfer between Android and iOS phones. That's something you might want to look into. I really like these Flux themes. Well, they are definitely inspired from iOS, but still they look pretty good. And for your own photos or wallpapers, whenever you try to adjust them, it automatically fills in the blank area as well with a single color or constant color, which is also a very nice addition. And you can also tweak how your lock screen looks like what to display along with the clock and much more. You get a lot of customization, and probably somewhere in the future we can also change the text. Anyway, so far these Flux themes definitely look pretty impressive. Oppo also has its own AI studio, which will allow you to generate wallpapers. So if you're interested, you can also give it a try. And by the way, the default phone dialer app on this one is a Google dialer. If you want to record calls, you'll get that beep sound. And right now the O dialer is not available for this phone, probably because of Android 15 issue. It might be available later. So overall, no complaints in the software department. Now when it comes to the battery department, once again, this phone gets a bigger battery, especially when compared to other smaller phones like the S25 or the S24 or even the Pixel 9. So this phone has a regular form factor as a flagship phone with a bigger battery. So battery life is really good. Like even with light gaming, it can definitely last me an entire day. And as you know, it comes with an 80 watts charger. So charging speeds are also pretty good. Like if you enable this smart rapid charging feature, you can charge this phone in about 50 to 55 minutes. Initially, I thought it was pretty big, but this does come with a bigger battery. Besides that, it also has a lot of battery saving features. Like it displays battery health. It has smart charging feature. Like it analyzes your charging patterns and changes the charging frequency to keep your battery health. And you can also limit the battery charge percentage. Like I can set it to 80% and the charging won't exceed 80%. So in this way, once again, we can keep the battery healthy and use the same phone for 4 to 5 years. So that's also pretty good. I didn't use wireless charging a lot, but if you want, you can use up to 50 watts, which is also pretty unique. Like Apple and Samsung doesn't support that. Now finally, when it comes to cameras, this is where we should really focus. This phone definitely has amazing cameras. I must clarify one thing over here. You might find other phones with similar camera sensors as this phone, but the optimization done by Hasselblad or Oppo on this phone is phenomenal. Like the type of pictures that you can get on this phone are really good, and you also get some extra filters from Hasselblad, I guess, for both selfies and rear camera shots, which can give you that vintage look, which looks pretty nice. Video recording is also pretty good. You can record up to 4K resolution at 60 FPS with both the front and rear cameras, and the stabilization is really good. Here's the sample footage and you can check it out and let me know how good it is. This is the sample footage recorded using the front-facing camera at 4K resolution. So check out the stabilization and the noise cancellation as well. Low light performance of the phone is also pretty good. I took photos in low light with and without the dedicated night mode, and you can see the results. When the night mode was on, one of the photos was slightly blurred. Instead of retaking it, I used the AI feature and it unblurred the photo. And this is how it looks. This feature is really crazy. I've also tried AI eraser or magic eraser, whatever you wanna call it, and that too works really well. It mainly depends on the background, but it still does a pretty good job. So guys, to conclude, if you're in the market to buy a flagship phone with a slightly smaller form factor but not too small, not too big, then Oppo Find X8 is definitely one of the best picks. Do give it a try and you'll definitely love its form factor and the cameras. So guys, that's all I have for today. If you have any questions about this phone or any other topic, comment below this video and I'll get back to you immediately. With that said, this is Nikhil signing off. See you next time.